Hey everyone, my name is Jeff. I was gonna put a short video on here that wanted to show you how to put HyperV on your computer. There's a nice feature to have if you want to try to test out some different OSs on your computer. You can load them into HyperV, and then you're not having to dual boot your computer if you're using Linux. Or you can also put other different editions on Windows. But you have to have a Windows Pro edition for it to work. Um, you go into your control panel. Let me bring it over to the screen. You're going to go into programs, go into turn Windows features on or off, and let it load up. Right here is your Hyper-V, and you have to have all three of these turned on for Hyper-V to work. Also, you'll have to go into your BIOS, and in your BIOS you'll have a virtualization. You need to make sure that's enabled. Once you have it installed, once you click those three, it'll install it, and it's going to tell you need to restart your computer, and then you can restart your computer, and when your computer restarts, it'll be on there. And then you'll have this an icon with the Hyper-V manager, and when you open the Hyper-V manager up, it'll look like this. And then you'll be on your server over here. Just right click that and go over to new, and then go to virtual machine. It'll pop up on here. This is the first screen you'll see. It's just telling you what the wizard does. You hit next. Here you'll type in the name of your virtual machine, whatever you want to name it. If you hit next, I always just use this generation 1 for your virtual machine. This right here, it's how much memory you want to assign to your virtual machine. I usually do about 1200. Just to make sure it's got enough memory. And I've tried the lower 500, and it runs kind of slow. If you hit next, on here you'll have your Ethernet machine with your network. You want the Hyper-V virtual switch, and the place you go to get your virtual switch is in your Hyper-V manager. If you click on this right here, it'll let you create a virtual switch. And you hit next, and this is just telling you about your hard drive. It's going to be a virtual drive. This will have you name whatever you named your machine. This is telling you where the virtual hard drive will be, and then what the size you want of your virtual drive to be. I usually do about 40 or 50 gigs. If you're using an external virtual hard disk, you click this right here. Or if you just want to do a hard attach it later, you put it right there. And when you click next, this is where it's going to tell you, where you're telling the virtual machine how you're going to install the OS. You can do it. You can install it later. If you want to do it from a bootable CD drive, that's where your CD drive will be. If you have an ISO image on your computer, you can click the image ISO file, and then you can browse for it. I've done it both ways. Just depends on how you have the OS, if you got it on a CD or if you got it downloaded to your computer. And when you click next, this is just going to go over and tell you everything that you just put in. It kind of gives you an overview of what you did, and when you hit finish, it's going to configure your virtual machine, whatever you named it. And then what it does is it puts it right here. And since I didn't put anything on there, it's not going to have anything. But what you normally do is, if you put it in there, when you double click on here, it'll bring it up, and then you hit the green button to start it. This is where it would start going through the loading. If you want to install it, it'll walk you through the install of whatever OS you have. I've already installed this Linux Mint on here. So after you've installed it and restarted it, the next time you come in and started it, this is what it's going to show you starting the virtual machine, and it'll tell you what it's named. Let me take a second for it to start up. here it goes. It's going to start up and go through the boot process just like it would if you actually had it on your computer as a dual boot configuration. Okay, so here we have it's the virtual machine. It's almost finished loading up now. And then here it is. This is, I've of course already set up some of the stuff on here. When it first loads up, of course, you're going to get the welcome screen. It's on the Linux Mint one. It's going to show you this. You can actually click the get my mouse to work here. You can actually click on the show this dialog at startup. If you take that X off there, and it won't show us when you start. Just the Linux Mint, I think, is the only one that shows that when you pop it up. Up here on the top, you have you can turn off the machine right there. You can shut it down. You can save, actually save where you're at, and what it'll do is it'll save an image of where you're at this point in your Linux or whatever OS you have. And then when you shut the virtual machine down, when you come back up, you'll have the option to open it up from your save point. You can pause it. You can reset it, and reset's just like a restart. And then you have a checkpoint. Checkpoint's basically the same thing as the save option. When you do a checkpoint, you can type the name if you want, or you can. We're just going to put checkpoint on here, and I'll show you what it does. Okay. So then, now we're going to shut it down. It's going to ask you to just hit shut down. This may take a minute or two for it to shut down. You see down here at the bottom it says shutting down. Well, I'll show you why it's doing that. Oh, they hadn't put it on there yet. I mean, I guess it probably won't put the checkpoint on there until it's actually shut down. Just a minute, it's about done shutting down now. And sometimes this can take just a couple minutes. Sometimes it goes pretty fast. Just depends. And then it'll tell you the virtual machine has been turned off. And down here you also see that shutdown succeeded. You can close it. And this is what I was telling you about your checkpoint. You can double click on that checkpoint, or right click it, I'm sorry, and hit connect. And then what it'll do is it'll boot your machine back up if you start it. Of course, it's just going to, in this case, it's going to bring it right back up to the same spot that it was because I didn't do anything or I wasn't at any point. That's basically all there is to HyperV. It's a pretty simple program to run and use. I have a VMware on one of my other computers, and it's a little more not so much complicated, just not as user friendly as the HyperV is. This is a real user friendly program, easy to use, very easy to set up your machines. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment on here, or I'll leave my email address under the video, and email me, and I'll see if I can get your questions answered. Okay, thanks.